Well, I mean, it's always Valentine's Day if you're a lover girl, right? Oh, okay. Jumping right in, I've already sketched out everything to save us all the trouble. I don't think I've ever used a template in my life in its entirety the way I use this one. What am I? A frat boy? Anyways, before you ask, no, I'm not switching over to cutesy wootsy bug content. I'm simply perusing this new area, simply going on a little excursion with my new friend Azul, who goes by passionpeachy_ on Instagram, because this is actually me bringing her sick-ass design to life. I saw this way after I finished the Valentine's Day spider. I saw this in March, so put down your snooty little pitchforks, okay? Give it a rest already. Now, not to dunk on you people who need glasses. That's actually mad embarrassing, bro. It's literally 2026. But the rest of us who were born with 20/20 vision can see that I've sketched out all the little doodle bugs, and now I'm going to make the general shape for the bugs, even though I very obviously made them way bigger than the original sketch. But don't you worry, that does indeed come to bite me in the ass later. Look at this, okay? Ready? I'm making this teeny little bug, doing my thing, living my truth, right? Okay, watch. I ain't slick, bro. I ain't slick. When it came to making these, I wanted them to be all extra thick, you know, built like stallions, because they're supposed to be a box of bug chocolates. And even though this is a departure from my usual swag with my bug sculptures, my goal is almost always to make them look as realistic as possible. So, if they're supposed to be a box of chocolates, I'm gonna make them look as edible as possible. I want everybody salivating by the end of the video. Now that the general blobs are complete, I'm going to go over everyone and give it its details, starting with this beach ball looking thing. My first controversial opinion is that, if I had to guess, this would be a snail. My second controversial opinion is that I don't think I will ever do something like this again. And not because I didn't have fun, but because now that I'm making the video, I feel like the video itself is going to be repetitive since I'm going to be going in circles. And I don't want to bore you all into submission, but like every other person living in the States right now, I'm going to make it work despite the circumstances. Next up, obviously, this one is roly-poly. Anybody who says this is a caterpillar just committed a hate crime, okay? Because caterpillars would simply break every bone in their boneless bodies if they tried to curl up like this. And do not ask me how they curl up to make their chrysalises, because I do not know. Also, caterpillars are caterpillars and roly-polies are aliens, so there's that too. Next up, it's a beetle, of course, a beetle of which there are actually a lot in this box. I quite literally never noticed that until now. I was debating what to do for the legs and decided to go for optical illusion legs that extend all the way down the sides, but look perfectly normal when viewed from the top. And if you don't like that, take it up with my secretary when he gets back from lunch, but be warned, he's very fired up because all he has for lunch is 4 consecutive Bang energy drinks, and I think he might die by the end of the day. I just got this brand new silver stabby tool, and oh man, was I rinsing this out. Making the lines for where the quote-unquote wings would be, using this thing just ooh-wee tickled my jimmies. Those lines are so straight they listen to podcasts unironically. Oh yes, and this is obviously a beetle, but if you ask my mother, it is very obviously a turd. This guy had mad beef with me, and I genuinely have no clue why, but it's very small, literally bite-sized, so I can't even be mad for real. This one is obviously an ant, no question about it. Also, feel free to disagree with me in the comments if you don't agree with any of my assessments. If you don't see this as an ant, that just makes me intrigued to know what you do see it as. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I can assure you this will be a fan favorite. Almost everybody I show the finished box to, they lose their marbles over this one. And you know what? I have no qualms about that. I'm going to make a TikTok/reel/short showing how I made the cards so quickly. And I don't know if that's impressive or not, but we'll find out together when I see the view count. Damn. No crumbs. Whatever could this be? Oh silly you, oh silly me. Whatever could this possibly be? That was slightly embarrassing, but I'm gonna write it out. I was originally going to make these dots for the hearts, but then I got lazy and decided that really wasn't necessary. I like the texture of the indented dots anyway, since it contrasts with the other ones. So I bought more clay tools, including this acrylic board and the super thin clay cutter that also works for perfectly smooshing the clay. The clay that will make the stripe for the bee. The bee which will provide a sting. So it's safe to say that out of all of the chocolates, this one will be spicy flavored. Ooh, I'm locked in. I'm locked in. So Then I make the illusion legs for the bee, and of course, how can a bee fly without its wings? Has anybody figured out why bees can fly at all? Someone tell it to my secretary so that he can inform me before his heart gives out. Thank you. I don't want that bulge there, so since it's not amateur hour, I'm cutting out that section of stripe so that the wings can lay flat. Lastly, gotta give the wings their swirls because Azul is a detail girly, just like me. This was for the simplest one, which is the one-eyed worm. My guy friend just informed me last night that one-eyed worm also means something else, so I am, once again, calling for men to be put into corners so that they can think about their actions. This one was my favorite to detail because swirl is my favorite detail on anything ever. Thank you. Yes. Swirl. Cinnabon. Yes. Ooh, I should probably mention that the last one and this next one are off the dome because in Azul's original illustration, a portion of the box is hidden by the top. And to make this spider though, I did go through her page for vibes and references and took inspiration from this one specific spider illustration. So yeah. Second to last is the third and final of the bugs that I make up for the covered part of the illustration, and this one is the caterpillar of the bunch. Yes, the honorary caterpillar has arrived. The final result of this caterpillar though, well, anyways. Azul is so big brain, like she is so on top of it for making a rhinoceros beetle that ultimately looks like it was dipped in chocolate. Yes, everybody say thank you, Azul. Thank you, Azul. Right now, it's very elephant coded, but just stick with me. To get the dipped in chocolate effect, I use a cheat code, which is to stick a little worm of clay where I want the chocolate to stop, then I gently smoosh it only on one side only. And after the eyes, I add in some illusion legs. Yes, now you see me tease. Ooh, prestige tease. Yes, that's it. And that's it. Keep in mind which of the forms is your favorite as of right now, and let me know in the comments if that changes once you see them all painted. After some very light superficial sanding, it's now time to paint. So, following the basic color scheme that Azul made for each of these, I laid down multiple layers of base paint for each of them so that the paint job would be nice and potent, and then went around and around giving each of them new layers of base paint one by one. One thing I learned in college was to keep the brand palette as contained as possible, so I stuck with sky blue, baby pink, light cream, metallic coral, and the yummiest shade of chocolate brown you've ever seen, all for both the base paint job and the details. And yellow for the bee, but whatever. Funny thing about the metallic coral, I genuinely should have added a little bit of metallic paint to all of the colors, because when you see that rhinoceros beetle at the end, well, let's just say your zooies will be mamaed. After a while of painting these, it felt a little bit like I was in a time loop because I'd color in one portion of the details for one, then hop on to do one portion of the details for the other, all the way until I finish one portion of the details for all of them. And then I move on, start the cycle over to do another portion of the details for all of them again. I think I'm just so used to making one bug and being done with it, so making an entire ensemble cast was interesting. I had no qualms though. I was even able to watch the entire first and second season of the original 2003 Teen Titans while I did this. So no, don't worry about me. And yes, Robin is still my favorite character, obviously. I want to say I don't think I'll ever make an ensemble again, since making only 1 or 2 bugs at a time really is my sweet spot. But I'm literally making 6 versions of the same bug next month, so don't hold me as a key witness because I will be spitting nonsense sometimes. Let's just say, I don't think I'll make a cast of characters this big again. How about that? It was around this point that I was really starting to salivate and wonder, what would these taste like actually? Especially the blue ones, like what flavor would that really be? I think it would be some sort of nougat with a blue chocolate shell personally. When I was a kid and my grandma would buy those old lady chocolate assortments, my favorite were always the cream-filled chocolates, you know, the ones filled with strawberry or orange cream. Now, apparently, all my adult friends think those were the worst ones. So once again, I don't know what to tell y'all, bro. I'm simply just better than y'all niggas. My third eye has been open since I was a jit, so. Do I regret painting this one brown? Well, let's just say if you ask my mother, she'd say scrap what she said about the other one, because this is obviously a turd. In a truly captivating segue effort from the Dookie Talk, Which of these would you try first if you bought this box of buggy chocolates? Which one would catch your eye? And what do you think the flavor inside would be? If you haven't guessed already, the rhino one would be my first choice, and the flavor inside would definitely be strawberry cream. But, my second choice would be the heart beetle, because I also love me some white chocolate. So, last order of paint business. I hot glued a hot glue stick onto each of these so that I could get those fine details painted. But when I'm done and the paint is dry, I simply pull it off, sand the painted edge, then paint over that little area. So fancy. I've been fantasizing about a little drill ever since I started sanding in earnest. And I finally bit the bullet and got one when I realized that almost none of the magnet holes I made during the molding stage were big enough for actual magnets. So I kinda had no choice. But I love my hot pink drill, and I took to it like a natural. So if anybody wants a teeth cleaning, I'll be behind your local dentist's office at 3 AM next Tuesday with my hot pink drill and a dream. Next up, I glazed every single one of these, and I thought it'd be so clever to use the tweezers, but the tweezers laughed in my face. So that's cool too. Perlex powder. I thought this was gonna give them all an extra juicy, appetizing look. So I rubbed some of this on in between both layers of glaze. You see the rhino in the back? I have no clue how that one got to be so much shinier than the others. I genuinely have no clue what I did differently there, because even the other chocolate brown ones don't boil your retinas like that one. So it's your guess as good as mine. Anyways, I whipped out the super glue to add magnets to them all. Less is always more with super glue because it leaves a weird effect around the edge if it bubbles over. So keep that in mind because it is definitely an eyesore. I think I covered all of mine up with clay, but I'm gonna try and find a picture of what it looks like for you guys because it definitely, ooh, it really looks like amateur hour. It really does. Wow, a box appeared from midair. Look at that! I was able to sand the outside since it was so thin it dried quickly, but luckily the inner pockets were damp enough for me to press some magnet holes into it. I thought the video was going to be way too long with the inclusion of how I made the box, so I'm going to make a TikTok/reel/short about it later. Also, the final product only includes the bottom half of the box. Yeah, damn. Because the top half kept shrinking and wouldn't fit over the bottom half because I don't use air dry clay. Air dry clay continues to be my arch nemesis, and if I see air dry clay on the street, I'm getting scared and running the other way. So, okay. That's all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this latest attempt of me trying something new and unusual for me because, as usual, I had a blast. If you made it this far, please remember to comment which one was your favorite. Please subscribe and like the video. Thank you again all so much for your support, and I can't wait to see you for the next one. Okay, bye!